Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something that I think I might make into a series. So I found this fun 70s remodel in Oregon that I want to dive into today. This is a space that I found on Pinterest, and then I kind of ended up doing a deep dive on it. And so instead of just pinning things for the hell of it, I thought maybe I should actually break some of these things down and share with you why I think these spaces work. Okay, so before we get started, I want to mention the interior designer is Jessica Halgerson, and it looks like she also worked with Taylor Smith Sustainable Construction, which I definitely want to look into them a little bit more. For some background, this renovation is on like a river island, which I've never heard of that before, but essentially it's a little spot of land in like not in a lake but between rivers, I guess, kind of near Portland. One thing they point out is like how wacky this home was originally. You had to go through the garage to get to one of the bedrooms, and the other thing was, there was carpet in the kitchen, which I've heard of carpet in bathrooms, but I don't know if I've ever seen carpet in kitchens, so that felt pretty funny to me. Let's start with like this entryway. So very first thing I want to discuss is the flooring. I think the flooring is super fun. I doubt that it's original to the house, but it does kind of like lend itself to the 70s, and I think that the mix of colors is super fun. There's some blues and some like terracotta brick red colors throughout it, which I think is just really eye-catching. I don't think we're very used to seeing tile in such large spaces. We're used to seeing a lot of wood floor, but as we go through this home, you'll see that there is a lot of wood paneling everywhere in the house. I think they break that up really nicely by having a lot of tile. Then also having like, I think this is like a green window casings, and I think that helps break up the wood. Obviously these windows are letting in a bunch of lighting. The staircase is also great for letting light come all the way through. So I think that's what's working in this picture. Kind of the entranceway from a different view. So again, you can kind of see the tile, and that leads into the upstairs and all of the wood floor. Again, it's a lot of wood, but I think this peak of the green to a different room on the left is really nice. The large piece of art breaks it up. It's very like minimal, but it's very nice, is a peek into that room. So this is like their family room. I think they use this more for like TV. I'm just getting like a cozy vibe. And I think this couch is not a couch. I think that this is like a built-in bench situation, which I really love. I think it's really cool. It expands the whole entire room. They have mismatched cushions, which is really fun. This room doesn't have like any wood in it. There's the tile, there's the painted ceiling and walls. The only wood incorporation is in the bench, really. And then we'll go on to that upper area that we can see from that first picture. This is what the husband calls the Manhattan room, but it's really just like a landing space. And yeah, I think the furniture is really nice here. That like deep, rich blue color is really contrasting with, again, the wood. This area rug is huge, and again, I think that helps break up the wood floor, which you can see is more present in this space. There's not tile on the second floor, there's wood. Okay, let's move on to this picture. This is a really interesting space. There is this big fireplace that's double-sided. On this side is their living room, and they have some really fun couches and chairs, but the thing that like really caught my attention in this space was kind of like, what's going on with the ceiling? It looks like potentially there's a little bit of pitch to the ceiling, but then there's the whole window section that has its own different pitch, and these beautiful windows, and like it looks like little nooks and crannies. I think the lighting throughout this house is interesting. They don't really have any canned lighting because most of the ceiling is in wood, and so they kind of have these interesting flush mount fixtures. You can see the floor, the ceiling, the walls, everything is pretty much cladded in wood, which is beautiful, but I think that there's enough other competing elements almost that your eye lands on. There's these substantial sofas that draw your eye in. There's this huge piece of art that kind of almost serves as like the, what do you call it in art? The like dead space, the blank space, the like space that your eye lands and like rests. I think that like large piece of art kind of does that for this space. So yeah, I think this is really nice. Okay, this next picture is kind of the opposite angle that we were just looking at. So you can really see the fireplace and how it's double-sided, and beyond this is the kitchen, which we will get to. Obviously, this is like a statement. This is one of the only things in the main living area that is like colorful, that is a permanent piece, is this crazy fireplace. I don't think they actually mentioned if this was original to the house. I think that the fireplace is original, but I don't think the tiling is. That's the sense that I'm getting, but it's super fun. And you can kind of see them utilizing the color with like some wallpaper in the background there and another piece of art. And yeah, it's a very interesting way to make this open concept less so, because there's this divider. There's a few different views of the kitchen. I want to show you the one that I saw first because I was a little confused. This is the picture that I originally saw, and there were a few things that I was like kind of questioning and I wasn't sure if I was into, but the thing that really drew me into this particular photo was the color palette. It is so fun. The kind of like greenish blue cabinetry with the like rusty orange brick type range, yellow chair. I was also curious, like I didn't know what this little sliver of tiling was on the left. That seemed like intriguing to me, and why I continued like digging further, like what is this? So I think this kitchen is really cool. I love that they incorporate a lot of the wood. You don't see like a huge tile backsplash. The other thing that I was confused about when I initially saw this photo, I was like, what is this random chair doing? Like, are they just like prop styling? They want to bring this color in? Like, what is this? But I'll show you some of the other angles. This picture kind of like helps tie like the two spaces together. So there's the other side of the fireplace. Obviously that was the tile that I was confused about, but you can also see that there's like this breakfast nook area, which is very cool. And so again, it kind of like further separates those two spaces, so it's not fully open concept, but it's using that space in a really nice way. Instead of it being like you could walk through on either side of the fireplace, it's forcing you to walk through one side, but it's making it so you can really use this other side of the space. So I really like that they use the space the way they did. The light is coming in both directions through both of the spaces because there's not like a wall blocking either of them off, but it does give that separation. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I think this artwork is super fun and how it's just kind of like different from everything else. I really love the cushions for that like nook bench seating. I love the kind of like open shelving concept with the island. I think that's nice. And then moving on to the other angle, this is what I was talking about with the light coming through. There's that same interesting pitched window situation on the kitchen side as well. And again, I think this really illustrates how pretty of a color palette they have going on. It shows now another cabinetry color, which is the wood, which is interesting. I'm surprised how little they break up the wood and how much it doesn't feel overwhelming to me. And I think it is because they use such strong choice of color. So apparently this was where the original entry was. The one thing I really don't know how I feel about with this kitchen is the range hood. I am so picky about hoods. I know this about myself. I don't know if I'll ever find a perfect hood that I enjoy. This feels like a miss for me. It feels like maybe a little too modern for the space because there's nothing else on that wall. There's no cabinetry. Maybe they're trying to blend it into the wall. I don't know. It misses for me. I think the counter, the like island situation is really interesting. They have this like tile top. Okay, this is like their powder bathroom. Nothing like too crazy here. They do use this same kind of like vanity setup in a few of their bathrooms. I think all of their bathrooms with like the tile counter type of situation, which again, like I think some people have really strong feelings about this. I think that it's fun and it's different. For a powder bath, I think it's probably the most appropriate place to do this because no one's putting on their makeup or like standing here and going through like a whole routine very often. You're interacting with the faucet and the soap most of the time. I love the little reflection. You can see the windows open with this cute little cafe curtain thing. And you can also see in the reflection this like yellow ceiling with this red flush mount, which I just kind of love that. I think they captured it in a really nice way. I'm sure it was hard to photograph, and it would have been nice to see like that a little bit more. Then there's some shots of like the dining room. I don't know if I care for the wallpaper here, but it is nice that they broke up the wood walls in some of these spaces. I love that they kept the wood ceiling. The light fixture, I'm not a fan of, but there is kind of a story behind it. The interior designer installed some of these fixtures in a restaurant like 15 years prior. The restaurant closed, so they're like reusing the light fixture from the restaurant. So I think that that's like a fun story. Otherwise, I don't really care for the light fixture itself. I think that the curtains add a really nice element here. And then here's another bathroom. We can see a different wallpaper being used. I think I like this wallpaper maybe the most out of what we've seen so far. We see like a painted baseboard, which is fun. Same vanity, like I said. I think it is interesting. Like, I like the design. Obviously, this window is super fun and unique, and I don't know if that was original to the house. They didn't call that out specifically. Okay, it sounds like maybe that stained glass wasn't original. Maybe there was stained glass there before and they just decided to upgrade it. I'm not really sure if that was just something they did design-wise or if it was like a nod to the original house, but it's kind of fun regardless, I think. The primary bedroom, although this wall looks very similar to the wood, it's actually a grass cloth wallpaper. So again, I think it's nice that they kind of like broke up the wood. I don't know if it pairs super nicely with the wood. It's something that's hard for me to judge on like the photographs. Maybe it looks better in person. I do like how, again, they did like a colored baseboard all around. I think that breaks things up in a nice way. If they carried that color up to the top and did a crown molding, I think that could have been really interesting, but a bit of a bolder choice, so I understand why they didn't. I love all the bedding throughout the house, really. Here is like the primary bathroom. Again, they have like the similar type of vanity style with a different tile. Looks like it's floating. It has some like rounded curvature and stuff to it, which is all really nice. You can definitely get the vibe of the 70s from this photo, like the light fixtures and the flooring, the wood. I feel like this picture really like grabs what they were going for. Here is another view of the bathroom, so you can see like into the like shower area. I really like what they did with this bathtub. They continued that wood for like pretty much everywhere again, but they did that same tile from the vanity around the tub, and I just really think this is unique. Like, you mainly see only tile for like that part that comes up to the tub. You can see a variety of things on top, and I think that the way they place the different materials around the tub specifically is a little bit more interesting, and it kind of mirrors the vanity, which is on the opposite wall of this, in a fun, like, playful way. I love the kind of like shelving that they included, and again, like those little cafe curtains, and like the different sized windows. It's all very fun, I think. I'll quickly show you the little boys' room. I think they have 2 kids or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. The wall color is really nice. This headboard, I believe they said the mom, like the client, made this headboard, and it was originally the one that they were using, like her and her husband. They decided to like pass it on to the kid, obviously, and it's in his room now. So that's kind of like an interesting thing. Again, I love the bedding. In both of the kids' bedrooms, there is like this built-in shelving and desk area, which is really fun. And what they've done throughout the home is the little like knobs. So on the desk area, that's the same color as the green cabinetry, and on the green cabinetry, that is the same wood color as the desk. And that's kind of a theme throughout the home. Here's the other bedroom, really fun yellow and blue with a little bit of red. I love the color palette here. Here's another bathroom. You can see they're taking the green from the wall to put on the knobs again, incorporating that like stained glass into the door. That's super interesting to me. I don't know, I'm not used to seeing glass as a part of interior doors, especially like a bathroom, like something more private. You'll see that every once in a while with like an office situation because there's not a lot of like privacy that's necessarily needed with offices. But yeah, I think that that was a super unique choice and I really like it. And you can kind of see how it interacts interestingly with the tile selection. I think it's really cute. Overall, I really love this house. I think it's super unique. I think that renovations are so fun. This would have been a great project. I wish they would have included some of the before pictures of it. What is working about this house? Number one, they have a color palette that they stay pretty true to. They incorporate some different colors every now and again, but that kind of like blue-green tone, there's that like rusty red terracotta color, and there's yellow and like a mustardy yellow. These three colors really make it easy to digest the wood. It's fun to see that it's still inviting and warm and cozy, but it's not so in your face. And I think the wood helps tone it down, and I think the color helps tone down the wood as well. They kind of like are both demanding elements, but put together, it kind of works well, calming each of those like separate materials or elements in a really nice, comforting way. There's a lot of like really simplistic lines. They introduce like pattern through like rugs and wallpaper and bedding, but overall, the pattern is pretty minimal in this house, and it's really focusing on the color. The color palette is the main thing that I want to like really point out here as to why I think this space works. I think that's everything that I want to share for today. If you like this video, please like and give me a comment down below because I think I would like to do this on a regular basis. So please do that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.